Hey guys, you are listening to episode 15 of the Creative Talk podcast, where Austin and I talk about the essential kit that you need for wedding filmmaking. Okay, Austin, so what are the most essential pieces of gear you need for wedding videography?
So the first thing I would say is the iPhone. I'm just kidding.
Dun, dun, dun,
No,
dun.
but a camera, I think, right? You think a camera's probably important to make a wedding film? Maybe. Yeah. Is it possible? That's what we're talking about. Is it possible to make a wedding film with no camera?
You could always just go like this.
Literally like this, and then just describe it to them when they want to see it. Describe the date. Sketch it. Oh, yeah, like a flip book.
Yeah,
there you
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
No, but so out of all seriousness, a camera, you need something, right? You need some kind of camera. And audio, I'd say audio. A lot of people don't do audio, but I think audio is very important. I think very important for the edit, because anytime I didn't have any kind of audio, I struggled with the edit. Because then I think the goal is to not make it a montage and try to make it try to find a story there in the day, which is always the hard part. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
especially with vowels. Like I feel like that you need to have.
Oh yeah,
like vowels are huge.
They have vowels, some kind of audio equipment, and then lighting. I think can be optional. I don't know, because I always bring lights, but I don't always use them.
Right. Okay.
And then probably a tripod, right?
Oh yeah.
Probably need a tripod or two. Gimbals. I mean, if I use the gimbal the most, it's at weddings. Those are probably like cameras, lav mics, some sort of lighting, tripod, gimbals. I think are like the standard version of wedding filmmaker kit, right? Am I missing anything?
No, I don't.
Drone.
That's true.
Yeah. Drone. So which ones do you need? What are let's say we pick, was it 6 things?
Yeah.
What are the most important? I feel like cameras are given.
Right.
One.
Oh yeah. Camera lens, obviously. Make sure you know.
Oh yeah, you need lenses. There's lenses for the camera too.
Yeah.
And then so let's start with the camera. The camera's the most important thing, because you need a camera to make something. What camera out there would you recommend? Like small right now, from what you know.
Well, I guess. Well, number one is autofocus. Like that,
Autofocus.
especially if you're doing.
Oh my gosh.
Well, really, I mean, even if you're going one-man band on a gimbal, like still autofocus is huge, because if not, you're not going to be adjusting that focus on the gimbal.
Yeah,
So,
it's just a wedding day, 'cause it's already stressful for everyone.
Right.
Or, I mean, they're stressful. Yeah, autofocus gives you one less thing to worry about.
right. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think, honestly, you don't need... I think weddings, you can get... You don't need a cinema camera.
Yeah,
right?
no,
You need a
definitely
cinema
not.
camera.
Yeah.
Now, what specific cameras would we recommend to... Not like anything specific down to the exact specs, because we don't have that in front of us right now. But I would probably recommend the 6000 series to somebody. If somebody's wanting to start into video right now, because then you got photos too on those.
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
hybrid
right.
camera. But I think any of those 6000 cameras, 6500, which I still use here and there.
Right. Yeah.
Have it for a minute, but yeah. There's a 6400 to 6700. Those I think are amazing, and they come with a standard zoom. 16 to 50 is what they come with. But yeah, I think those would be a good place to start. But I mean, there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
You really can't. That's the thing with cameras. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm more of a Canon shooter, for photos, but I mean, yeah, even video wise for somebody that's maybe just starting out, the T series on the Canon side is pretty good.
Yeah, I started with the T2i.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I had that actually. I did. I had my GH4 by then. Oh, the Panasonics are killer for weddings.
True.
Panasonics. Micro Four Third is going to be more affordable. Panasonic makes killer cameras. I'm sure you can get secondhand right now. Super cheap. I don't know what they go for at the moment, but what were you saying? Oh, Canon. How much does that R5 go for?
The R5 right now is like body only is about $3,500.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that like beginner.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely not entry. Entry, if you wanted to go a little bit more quality, I would say the 60 Mark II that I have is definitely a step above.
And that only does 1080 though, right?
It does, yeah. Unfortunately,
that's the thing too. Is like, is 4K necessary now for weddings? I don't know. So here's the thing too, is what I would do is I was filming in 1080, but I would render out in 4K.
Yeah.
I'd res it. And if it looked okay, it looked okay. So I don't know. You could probably get away with that for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Some
sure.
secondhand camera.
Especially, I mean, most of the time, people that you're doing weddings for wouldn't.
No.
And really, it's like, where are they going to watch them? Like, how big? You know, it's there's a lot of variables. But
up-res in 1080, you're still stretching 1080, but you're getting 4K pixels. If they ever check the file, it's going to say 4K. No, so they would never know. But
doing 4K, I think, like packaging in that way, like people are more likely to.
I think I don't even advertise that though. I almost don't even think about it because I feel like 4K is. Maybe you do want a 4K camera, but if you can't get one, you're still gonna upscale.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not like devastating, but nowadays I think it's kind of easy to afford. I think that the Sony 6000 series are probably the cheapest. Do you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Probably the cheapest camera you can get into for decent video with good autofocus. Canons, I don't know what they have. I mean, we're not going to sit here and go through prices on everything, but because we don't need a computer up right now. But let's just say you got a camera. What lenses? Not specific lenses, but focal lengths would you recommend for like a wedding film?
I shoot a lot with the 16 to 35 millimeter.
16. Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Yep. I really like that that range because most of the time I'm pretty close.
I don't think Sony has a 1635. I don't know what they have instead, but yeah, for Canon, you can adapt Canon to Sony. But,
well, between 1635 and 18,
that's
my
killer.
Sigma.
That's killer.
But yeah, typically 1635.
So I'll tell you what I use with the Sony Alpha line, the 18 to 105 f4.
Okay,
it's awesome. Yeah. It's not super shallow, but it's tack sharp and 18. It's 18 to 105. And if you got clear image zoom on a camera, you go further than that. But I used to shoot on primes from weddings.
Okay.
And I wouldn't recommend primes, especially starting out. Primes I would not recommend at least starting in. I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. But having a zoom.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree? Like a zoom
is... Oh, yeah. Tenfold.
Yeah, a zoom for a wedding, even if you take that little bit of quality loss. And zooms are great nowadays. I mean...
Which is actually something I want to invest more in is zoom.
Zoom lenses? Yeah. They're just so versatile. The 24 to 70 is beautiful. That's probably our main go-to for wedding films right now. But unless you're doing a multicam setup and one is a prime or something, I don't know. It's good to have a zoom there. Swapping lenses is a pain during weddings. I used to carry a messenger bag with primes. Used to have like 3 or 4 primes on me and swap them all the time.
Oh my gosh. But adding all that time up from what you think, oh, it's just a couple seconds. No, I mean, if you're doing that constantly, it adds up.
Then you're dropping lenses.
Oh yeah.
You could drop a lens.
Definitely.
I drop lenses. And then like you're trying to keep caps on and closed. You're exposing your sensor. You're rushing, and there's issues with that. So definitely think go in zoom. Zoom lenses. So get yourself an affordable camera, good autofocus, and a zoom lens. I think usually kit lenses are okay starting out.
Yeah.
So let's say you got your camera.
Sometimes you can save money that way, but
now where I feel like I don't know if I could have done a wedding film with one camera. I always feel like I needed 2. I don't, mainly for the ceremony.
Oh yeah, right.
I guess you could. I guess if you're starting out, price appropriately. That and let the couple know you have one camera set up for the ceremony. It's not gonna be multicam stuff, but you would need a tripod. So you can try. I'm not gonna talk about specific tripods. A tripod's a tripod. If it's gonna hold your camera, it's gonna work. Unless I mean, obviously there's features tripods, but you're just starting out. You just need a tripod.
Now, is this, you said just one camera?
That's one camera. Okay. I feel like you need 2, and this is kind of expensive to get into. I mean, it's possible you could do it with one. Right.
I think if you're doing a one camera setup, I think definitely have a gimbal. I think I think a gimbal would be very beneficial.
And where I have issues with the gimbal, and this is why I need multicams, is getting from the gimbal back to tripod and tripod to the gimbal, like from the ceremony, and planning it. Man, we can go into all that. That's a whole other thing. It's like planning the wedding day and going through that. Yeah, I'm trying not to go off into that and just try to stick to just the gear you need. Camera, good autofocus. I feel like autofocus is important.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would recommend shooting log, any kind of log format for weddings. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So if you're mixing cameras, I still do it. It sucks because it's like shooting log, like S log and then Blackmagic log. It's easier to match starting from there. But you're adding more work.
Yeah.
So then it's like, maybe if you can find a place to, I don't know. Oh man. I'm get bad at giving advice that way. Weddings. It's just you're in for it. Just be ready. You're in for it if you're filming weddings. It's gonna be a process and it's work. But
yeah, I guess it depends on like what level you're at too for that.
Yeah. So gimbal I normally would never recommend to prioritize, but a wedding it's gonna make that cheaper camera feel a lot better.
Yeah, most
It
definitely.
is. And
yeah.
for weddings, everybody wants that floaty, dreamy stuff. You know, it's people like that. It's gonna feel better with just like a little gimbal shot, no matter what it is. Just that motion.
Yeah.
Weddings, I feel like everything needs to be floaty and movie, you know, like dream-like. And so gimbal, I would recommend. I'm not going to say any specific ones. Anyone's going to hold your camera, right?
Yeah.
They all seem good anymore. But,
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah. Between Zion and or however you say it, and then DJI, obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. The RS2 is amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
The RS2 is absolutely insane. If you can get that one, that one. I mean, that's expensive. So gimbal. You know, I guess we should clarify. I don't feel like this is a budget kit. We're not naming a specific kit.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the things you use at a wedding if you just don't know what you need or what to look for, like giving general categories and then looking. You have to do your own research on where everybody's finances are completely different. Your budget's completely different. You might want to spend more on the gimbal and less on the camera. You want to spend more on the camera and no gimbal. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for everyone in that, but
one thing we did forget to mention, and I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence here, but like if this is someone that just knows nothing about this world, the storage.
Oh my gosh!
Like make sure
media cards or just the storage of the wedding day.
Just media cards.
Media cards. I'm glad you brought that up because it's very important to pay attention to on a wedding day. Yeah, make sure you have enough. This varies on the camera you get.
Yeah,
make sure you have enough storage during the day. You don't want to fill a card up before the ceremony or during the ceremony is full. I have multiple cards. I think it's better to have multiple small cards maybe because I like to have a fresh one going into the ceremony, knowing that card is just for the ceremony. Caitlin, for photo, I tried to do this video, it just didn't work, but maybe it will for someone else, is have a specific card labeled for each time of the day.
Okay.
So, each card is like, here's the, getting ready early day before pre-ceremony stuff. Here's the ceremony, and then here's the reception. Like 3 cards for each. That's a good way to break that up, I think.
I feel like you can never have enough, though. Like
no. Oh my gosh. Tip from Tony and Chelsea that I need to follow. I followed it for a while and I don't. But if you can buy an extra card, keep it in your car. Always keep an extra SD card in your car.
Really good. Yep.
And I know it sounds stupid, but it will happen. You will forget an SD card somewhere for something. You will just forget it. I've done it. I forgot. The Black Magics, I forgot my SSDs before, but thankfully I had an SD card to even shoot lower, lower compression on there. But yeah, storage is super important on a wedding day. So pay attention to storage. Mm-hmm. Next is audio. Mm-hmm. Audio. Yeah, well, there's drones. Drones like optional. Yeah. Oh, do you want to dive into? I don't know what you want to dive into with like. There's so much in each one of these categories to dive into, but
yeah, it could almost be its own. Each category could be its own little episode. But
it really is. Yeah, like drones for weddings is very. There's so much to talk about. So, the bare minimum kit, and I'm just gonna start off with my kit that I would recommend to someone. Not specific gear, but the kit: 2 cameras, 2 tripods, a gimbal, a drone, at least 1 lav setup, and not a wireless one. I would not recommend a wireless one for someone who's like, this is a bare minimum kit, because I assume it's somewhat budget friendly.
Multiple batteries too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Literally that messenger bag I told you I used to carry. I used to carry a messenger bag with lenses full of batteries and cards, and it was always on me, so I didn't have to run to a bag or anything.
That's so nice.
But nowadays, I've gotten some, I would buy an SSD for my Black Magic, so then I had I knew I had that all day, 2 terabytes, and I knew it wasn't going to fill up. Actually, 2 terabytes was too much for weddings, but 1 terabyte's plenty. But batteries, lots of batteries. I think 2 cameras you're gonna want. Yeah, you're gonna have to learn multicam editing too for that ceremony, because having 1 camera wide down the aisle saves you for like anything, and then another one up close on just kind of a bounce, like a free floating one, just wherever you can get, and you're pretty much good for the ceremony for that. Yeah. And then you can have one you keep on a gimbal too, and the other one's on a tripod for anything that you need. And this, we're talking by yourself too. Right. And I personally would never do a wedding by myself. Never. I would never do one by myself. I would either charge more because I need an extra person or not do it.
Yeah, that's how I don't like Kevin that we've worked with before.
Shout out to Kevin.
He's a one-man band.
Does he?
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to him about his process.
I've helped him out in the past, but like the ones that he does now, he's a one-man band.
It's so stressful.
I don't know how he does it.
What a trooper.
Yeah, because if you don't...
How do you do it?
And I think he does a one camera. I think that...
Does he?
I think
Well, I'd
so.
like to talk to him about that. I don't...
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess, like I said, everyone does things differently.
Right.
Wedding films.
Definitely.
There's no two wedding films that are the same. My process is not the same as anyone else's process, and their process is completely different and not wrong, just different.
Yeah.
But like, for me, I feel like I don't have enough faith in myself with one camera to get it all done.
Yeah, I've done it one time and it was not good.
Oh, man, and then a lav setup, and I would always recommend laving the Groom because it's easier to get. It's way easier, and if you had to pick between I don't know. If you had a mic, the Officiant or the Groom, I usually mic both. Very rarely do I mic the bride because
it's hard to hide.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a pain. Usually they have enough stress going on to get the mic on them. Unless you get the mic on the dress before they're in there, and they know you did that. Not just be like, "What is this in my dress?"
Right.
But like they know, make sure they're aware of a mic.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always discuss with the Groom is like way before I'm like, are you gonna have a jacket? Are you wearing suspenders? Are you wearing a button-up shirt? Like what's the outfit? What's the attire I need to lav and be ready to bring?
Yeah.
Like I have a whole entire lav kit, but like a kit of moleskin, medical tape, and I have like clips and those Ryko undercovers are amazing. Ryko undercovers for the lav. I'm gonna recommend those. They're a little more expensive, but totally worth it. Like they're pretty much stick and go anywhere. There's not much to them. Ryko undercovers for the lav. But back to my question: would you lav the Groom or the Officiant?
Probably the Groom, just because of having knowing the vows. Like if they.
But what if they don't? Honestly, very rarely do I get vows, which sucks when they don't read vows.
Yeah,
I love when they read them because it's it makes for a way better film.
Well, in that case, then I guess it would be the Officiant.
So I guess probably ask if they're reading vows, if they are the Groom, and if not the Officiant.
Yeah,
because the Officiant does most of the speaking in the ceremony.
Yeah, I guess I've never been to a wedding that they don't do vows, but
really?
that's interesting.
It's annoying when I got everyone mic'd up and I'm like excited and they don't. I mean, it's not annoying, but they don't read the vows. I'm like, oh man,
because it's just that extra.
Yeah, then I gotta use something from the Officiant. I love adding voiceover in the film because voiceover adds a whole new element in the edit, and it kind of guides what you're. If you can find a line you like and piece I'll listen to what they were said in their vows and piece them together. I might have them go back and forth, kind of tell a story, their little love story back and forth. Yeah. And I kind of show pieces, if he's talking about her, I'll show her. And, they're talking about being together. I'll show footage of them together that day or something. I'll try to let the voiceover guide the edit. When they don't read vows, it's then it kind of is a montage at that point. It is. Yeah. Which is fine, but I try to avoid the montage. But So I guess that's actually something I'm learning right now. I probably should ask if they're reading vows. And some people will say, I don't know yet. I get that a lot.
Really?
I don't know. Literally won't know the day of. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to 2 weddings now where the groom literally was writing it before the ceremony, writing his vows. Wow. But
something I've done, the one time that I did the video by myself, I did they didn't read the vows at the with the officiant. So later that day I was like, hey, let's because I got B-roll of both of them getting ready. So then I just had them read their vows.
That's even better.
And then
even way better if you can get that from them. I did that once and it was amazing to work with.
It works really
if you can
well.
Because you can put them somewhere else. You can stage them in an interview setup. It looks awesome, and have them sit there and read it. It's so much better to do that way because then you're in full control of the audio. I've done that, and I was able to use my boom mic. I knew ahead of time we were going to do this. So actually, I think I filmed their vows to each other for the film at the rehearsal.
Okay.
Before the wedding day, and they weren't in the same room. Yeah. So I had her. He stood out. And I had him come in. I filmed in the same place, and
Now, did you put B-roll to that?
Yeah.
Or,
so then I filmed the wedding
yeah.
day, and I had this like footage from the day before of them reading their vows to each other.
Gotcha.
So still giving their ceremony with
Yeah.
the vows they read to each other during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But for because I deliver a full length and a highlight. It's optional to have one or the other or both. So the full length is like, the whole day, full ceremony, and highlight is like, it's a highlight. It's highlights of everything of the day, but I still like to have that voiceover in the highlight because I make the highlights basically a trailer of the whole day.
Right.
And having that voiceover done in that way, especially in that kind of quality, if you can get them beforehand at all to read their vows, and they don't have to hear it, you can separate them. That you're gonna love yourself in the edit for that because there's so much to work with that, and there's something so much more touching and more emotional when you have a voiceover the B-roll with the music and stuff, but. Yeah, so the mic, now lavs, I would recommend literally anything, I guess, is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Aspen mics I used for years. The one that I gave you is small.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. I think those are like $30-$40. Could be wrong.
That's not bad.
And then for recorders, now I use the Tascam DR10Ls. Amazing little recorders. They're so small and easy to use and last forever battery-wise. I used to use cheap Sony recorders from Walmart.
Okay.
Like a Clash.
Oh, I remember you. Yeah, that's the one that. Yeah.
You plug a mic into those. I think I paid like $50 for those. So it was like $40 I think it was like $45 for the mic, like $50 for the lav. So like barely under $100. I was able to get a single lav setup. I eventually bought two, but like that you can go get. You can order that on the Aspen mics on. I'm sure there's other mics out there now, but Aspen mics are tiny, and I like that you can hide them. Like with the and that's one thing too. I don't like to see mics. So hide them. The undercover ride codes are awesome for that.
Yeah, because the one that you used on Kevin's wedding, that was.
I think I had the Deity.
That's right. The Deity was, yeah. Okay.
Lav Pro, I think it is. It's not the $50 Deity. Deity does make us $50 one, but it's bulky. That's something you gotta look at too. Like some of them are bulky. They probably sound great, but if you have it exposed, that's fine. I just like to hide them. I don't like people to see them. But if you have to go super cheap and get a lot, just get a lav up there. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I've also hidden lavs too up there. Like put them like if they're reading if the officiant's got a Bible or something or some notes, you can put a little mic inside that. Like throw the lav up in there. You could do that and like you have it under the table, or if he's reading up with a podium or something. I did a wedding where they were up at a gazebo area, and I mic'd the gazebo. Because I wasn't quite sure where they're going to be as a backup. I still mic'd them. Yeah. But I had a mic in there too, just hidden. And just with gaff tape, just literally. You can use lavs that way. You can hide lavs in places that's like really unique.
And it still picked it up okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't have to use it, but it was backup. But yeah, it worked.
Wow.
It's like little things like that. I've also put them under tables too, like taped it up under the tables of just up there. I'm sure it wouldn't sound as good through a table, but I'm sure it's better than the onboard camera that's on the second floor up on the auditorium area thing. I remember doing that one, but lav the Groom or Officiant, depending on if they're reading vows. But so I feel like 2 cameras set up. I'd love to talk to Kevin. I'd love to hear his process.
Yeah, because when I did it with them, like it made sense because there were 2 people, but we could go get different shots. So when I did. I just don't know how. Like when I did that one by myself, trying to getting ready shots of the bride and the groom, I had to make sure like ahead of time, like, hey, you guys are doing this at separate times, right? So that way we get enough of. I'm not like going.
Yeah,
back
that's
and
the thing
forward.
too. I don't understand like being by yourself. I feel like if the couple's not literally working with you with every step, you got to make sacrifices.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah,
and I feel like at that point, it's like I don't know if I was doing a one-man band, I don't think I would do a full video. I think I would just do like a 5-minute type of thing.
It would have to be like a highlight montage.
Yeah.
I think it'd have to be. I don't like doing a full day. I couldn't. I just wouldn't. I don't know how. Also, as a backup, this is like a pro tip thing. If you can talk to the DJ and you know what the DJ board is, or if it's a venue and they have their own setup and DJ, if you have a portable recorder and can hook it up into any way, like I have a bag of like all kinds of audio. Hey, I'm interrupting this episode to remind you guys that if there's any topics you want to hear us discuss, or you yourself are creative and want to be on our podcast, you can email us at thecreativetalk@absorbproductions.com. We're always looking to expand the topics, and we'd love talking to creatives in any industry, whether it's filmmaking, photography, or if you do anything in the creative field, we'd love to hear from you. The email again is
thecreativetalk@absorbproductions.com. Now I'll let you get back to the episode.
So, like, get a bunch of cables and like make sure. Like, I have a 3.5, I have a 1/4 inch XLR, all to my recorder. So, I think it's all the ones I have. Those are basically the main ones you're going to run into, and see if I can tap into the DJ board or the venue board or anywhere. Like, obviously ask. Don't just run up and start jamming cables into somebody else's thing. But gosh, I'll never forget. I asked. This was not a wedding, but it was a venue event. I was recording a live event. I was recording these people speaking, and I went up to their sound booth because I got permission to go up there. I asked if I can go up there and tap into the soundboard, and they said, "Yeah, you'll meet." I don't remember his name. Something up there. Shouldn't say his name anyway. But said you go up there and he'll show you where you can tap in. I remember going up there with my recorder. I said, "Hey, I'm Austin," and then he immediately, grumpy old man. He goes, "Get out! Get out! Get out!
Oh
get out!"
my
gosh! Like, hey, like I wasn't allowed in that room, I guess. But so I got out, and then I was like, I was told I can tap into the board up here, and he goes, he's like, I don't remember. It's frustrating. He was so frustrated with me, and I'm like. He wasn't even, it's not even like his venue or anything. I think he just ran the sound booth.
Oh
I don't know.
That's.
But I'll never forget the get out, get out, get out. And I'm like, you run into some weirdos at like events and stuff and some rude people. That was probably the only rude DJ. I've never met a rude DJ. Never. That guy was not a DJ. I don't know what he was, but back to tapping to the board. But I eventually tapped into the board and that guy he screwed something up and it wasn't. That's the thing. It's a backup and I wouldn't count on it, especially when you're expecting someone else, like the DJ to hopefully have a line out to your thing. You can't expect them to, and it's hard to blame them. You know what I mean? Like if all of a sudden you plug your recorder and that was your main source of audio and you didn't get it, is it your fault or their fault? I would not expect them. I'm saying like they're all like useless, but I don't mean that way. I wouldn't expect it to work out, but it is a backup and it's a good option to have to be able to tap into the DJ board with a recorder. I use my Zoom H5 and just tap in. Usually I have a good backup. Or if they have a mic, usually, or the Officiant usually has a mic on, you're getting that audio or should be getting that audio as a backup. And for a while, I was using that because my lavs, my Aspen ones weren't that great, and some DJs had amazing lavs. I was able to get better quality audio just from using their board. I was using their equipment just to line out. So that's also a tip too. If you can get a line out on some sort of recorder you have from a DJ, and I think even those little recorders would work if you get a line out into the mic jack.
Yeah,
on it should work. Anything should work. Or if you want to get risky, you can leave your phone up there with the recorder. You know,
I guess
literally anything up close is gonna be better. I've also heard of people pointing mics at speakers. That's kind of hit and miss because you got to like monitor that and you don't know how loud that speaker's going to be when they're actually talking and stuff. But usually you can get, if it's a venue speakers around, you can normally, without asking, it's not really a big deal if you have access to the speakers. They have XLRs out because normally speakers connect to other speakers. I'll ask the DJ this. This is usually where they'll tell me to go. It's not the cleanest sound, but you can get a XLR out on a speaker, usually on the back, because they're meant to like daisy chain to each other, I believe. Okay. So it's usually XLR out. It's usually pretty hot, the signal, so you gotta like turn it down. That's the thing too, is you'll plug in, but you never know how much gain that DJ's putting on.
Right.
So yeah, I've never had a recorder I can do like two at the same time. If I can get two lines in or out, I've done that before on speakers. I'd like my decibels set at two different levels on the audio is huge at weddings.
I was gonna say, that's a great tip for that.
But yeah, usually there's ways to get audio. Any way you can is better than not having any. But that's always saved my films that way. But I feel like you need an audio setup. Lav's going to save you in the end. 2 cameras, preferably 2 people.
Right.
I feel like 2 people. If that means you got to double your prices, then it's totally worth it. Double it. I feel like. Right? I don't know. But what else are we missing?
As far as like with audio or
just in general?
Just in general. So I know you mentioned about the drone.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a need.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a need. I would only say
pretty much every wedding couple's asking about a drone though.
Yeah, but the
people love it.
That I see with that is it depends on what kind of exterior you have. Like if you're shooting at like a really like not attractive place like I've done before.
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
Oh, yeah, but they'll want it though. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they'll still want it, but
I've had a couple so excited about the drone, talking about the venue, and I get there and I'm like, this is not a cool venue, but whatever. But it's their venue, it's special to them.
Yeah.
I'll go up and get something, but sometimes I feel like I'm obligated to use that drone shot in the film, even if it's not that good. But you're talking about tripods. A monopod is what I.
Right, yeah, 'cause you use that at Kevin's wedding. Right?
Yeah, I always use a monopod. Monopod is amazing because you get the best. I have one by Binro. Binro makes some good ones. I actually heard, I don't know what's out there now. Mine's old. I'm sure they're all good, but you can. I don't recommend letting go of it, but you can kind of let your hands off of it.
Right, yeah.
So you can still bounce around. Yeah, I'm glad I brought that up. I totally forgot that monopod is a lifesaver.
I guess if you couldn't afford a gimbal, that'd be the next thing. Yeah,
honestly, it's in monopod before gimbal because the gimbal gets heavy during the ceremony.
Right, yeah, most definitely.
But I did that last time, and I think I'm gonna go back to my monopod.
Make sure you get that ninja walk.
yeah. But the monopod is so versatile. You can just grab and go, move. You can stand. The ceremony is it's amazing for that. Events in general, monopod is great because you can set it down. You're not holding it. There's not the weight on you. You're still moving. You still move. Nothing's planted there. I have done and seen. I need to come up with a better system with my camera set up, but where they'll put a quick release plate on the bottom of the gimbal handle and put that on a monopod, and that'll stand. And then when they need to follow them off or walk with the bride down, if they choose to do like a walking shot, they just pop off the monopod and they're on a gimbal. And then follow that, and then quick release back to the monopod.
Dang.
I've seen that setup, and I thought that is the killer wedding setup. I think if you can get that going.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
But monopod all the way.
Yeah, I actually have 2 monopods, and I've never used them.
What?
I've never used a monopod.
Never?
Yeah. Not that I can. Yeah, I don't think so.
You have 2 of them?
Yeah, I do.
Why did you buy another one if you didn't use them?
Well, actually, both of them were free. Well, no, one of them came with, I don't know, something that I bought. I think it was a kit when I first got no, that's right. I got the kit for the Sigma 18 to 35, and I got, it was on Amazon, and it came with a monopod.
What?
And then my grandpa didn't use his, and he gave me his. So
that's awesome.
I guess they were both,
yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. That's legit.
Monopods, my gosh, they're so underrated. Monopods are cool. I've used them for just filming videos in a small room. If you have it set low, I wouldn't set it too high, and you got a light camera on it, you can lock it off and put it behind a desk or a tight corner where a tripod can't get, and they take up no space. Yeah, I see a lot of people do it behind a desk. For people watching video, they can see my corner desk. And I'm thinking about doing this, putting a monopod back there and having the camera up. Cause it's not really going to fall over. It
I was going to say that
fall
might
into
be
a wall or the tripod, but those legs are just going to stable itself out. It's not going to fall anywhere. Right. Monopods are just awesome.
Yeah,
I beat the crap out of mine. I've had that monopod for so long. My very first wedding was shot on that, my GH4, and I'm still using it.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
monopod. Gosh, if you made it this far in the episode and you wanted to take one thing from this, get a monopod for weddings. If you don't have a gimbal, a monopod. I'd much rather have a monopod than 2 tripods.
Yeah.
One tripod, one monopod.
Yeah.
You get one camera down the aisle, one camera. Honestly, the second camera should be for the second person. But if you don't have one, the second camera is mainly used for the ceremony. That's really it. Just to cut around those times where you're moving around. Unless you don't move, then you could get, if you had long lenses, like a 7200, that would be awesome. I still don't have a 70. Oh, yeah. On the A mount, our A mount, we have a 7200, which doesn't really, it's our photo camera. Doesn't benefit me for video.
Right.
But how I shoot a ceremony is 4 to 5 camera setup. Which I know is
right. I remember seeing, when I was in Kevin's wedding, that was the first.
So we probably censored that so we don't get a copyright strike. But was that a phone call? Or was it
an alarm? I completely forgot I had set.
I assumed that was licensed music. We can't use it.
Yep, most definitely.
So that's what that was. Anyways, the wedding, I normally do you were saying at Kevin's wedding? You seen?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever seen you guys in action.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I normally do, I don't remember how many I had there, but 4 cameras because I like to have 3 minimum is my starting point. It's 1 down the aisle and 2 crossing.
Okay, yeah.
But then the issue with the 1 down the aisle is that a close up or a wide? I'm always battling that. So I put 2 cameras in the middle now.
Okay.
So that's where I end up with 4. So I have a wide and a close up down the aisle. Honestly, those, like a wide and a close up down the aisle, if you have like a, I don't know, 200 millimeter, 7200 and a wide, I don't know, 16 to 35 or something.
Right. Yeah.
You could put you on a tripod and have a really good ceremony video for the couple with just those, because you have your wides of everyone and close-ups there. But if you want to get like those unique over-the-shoulder angles, kind of got to get up there for those. So that's where I have my monopod.
Right.
Get up there. Or the gimbal. I've used the gimbal once. I didn't like it. You can, but I had my Blackmagic and 12 to 35? Not the Sigma. It's the Lumix. It's a light setup, but even that got heavy for me. I was like, oh. But yeah, that got annoying and heavy for me. But you can do that. Monopod I love so much more. And then have the other person on the other side, or if not, you need to cross over during vows or whatever. I always battle that. I always never know. Say the bride's reading the vows, do you want to see the bride reading the vows, or do you want to see the groom's reaction?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So I always have down the aisle close up.
Yeah.
Which I get it from that angle. But I always think back to like cinema. If this is a dialogue scene, you're probably seeing that person talking for the most part.
Yeah.
So if she's reading the vows, I'll do an over the shoulder of her reading the vows, because I always do have that side angle down the aisle to cut to.
Okay.
But it is nice sometimes to get to the angle of them. I guess it depends on the groom's reaction. If they're getting emotional, I'll try to cross over and get that other side.
Right.
But that's kind of where I stick to on those.
Now, like this isn't necessarily gear related, but like for the bride, when she's about to walk down the aisle, do you ever get a walking shot of like following her from behind?
So
do you typically do that? Or?
I think I've done that a couple times. It depends on how many people you have at that point. I feel like
yeah.
Lately, I've been doing video. But I say by myself, Caitlin's there doing the photo, I'm doing the video, which means I still get her help moving stuff and all that. She still helps.
Yeah.
I'm not by myself doing video, but I'm still normally running the video at the ceremony. Another reason why I have so many cameras is because I want to make sure I have coverage. I'm not missing anything. And if you're just doing video working with a photographer, I always tell the photographer, sometimes it was a mistake, but if it's not Caitlin doing the photography, if it's us two working with another photographer, I'll tell them, feel free to go anywhere. I have pretty much, and that's true, I have pretty much every angle. Because if the photographer walks out there and I'm like, can you not step in front of my cameras? And I have a camera on every single angle. So yeah, they kind of but sometimes they'll stand right in front of like the main one or I don't know. You can't, there's really no winning sometimes. I know the photographer's got to get their photo and stuff, but
yeah, I guess that's like kind of like you make a good point about, and I guess another thing to add to this like kit is beforehand talking to the photographer. That way, if it's not, like you and Caitlin, like if it's somebody else doing the photos, like that's huge.
Literally say hi. Just say hi, introduce yourself. Because for some reason, I don't know where this starts, like this videography, photographer, like rivalry during that. It's like we're literally working together. Like we should be helping each other. And
I feel like people that only do photography, like that have been in it for years, like are like I have worked with one photographer that
I think I have too. Is this the same one?
I don't think so. Okay. I think we had different ones, but yeah, he was an older guy.
Okay. No.
So I think he prioritized him photos over the video. He's like, oh, well, people always want photos. Like videos are just kind of But I mean, I feel like
I do know people probably value the photos more but then there's a point where like I still got to make a video.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I need something.
Yeah. So there's like, I don't know. It's like we're both here creating content, so why can't we all just, in tandem?
But back to we were asking about follow the bride down the aisle. Mm-hmm. How I typically do it is I'm up there with the groom. When she comes down, I have her back on those two wides that I have shooting down the aisle already.
Yeah.
I'm not following her. The following shots do look cool, but I feel like if you do that, you kind of miss his reaction.
Right, yeah.
So I make sure I wait up there till I get his reaction to seeing her. Once I get that, I turn in. This is where I'm either walking with the monopod or walking with the gimbal. And I come about halfway into the aisle.
Meeting her. Okay.
Yeah, and kind of walk backwards and try not to fall.
Yeah.
Walk backwards, and this is where like me and Caitlin work together. So she'll get I'll only go up close enough to where Caitlin can get the photo. We're kind of beside each other.
Okay.
Usually, this is the biggest thing we usually coordinate with the photographer too. And I'll walk backwards with her and her father, or whoever's walking her down. And I'm getting like this backwards shot coming backwards with her face. You know, like she's walking toward the camera, backing up, and then I'll try to swing back around to the the handoff to that. That's how I do those, and that's kind of been my foolproof plan for that, because there's really no or even though you get just a little bit in the aisle of her just coming up the handoff, some kind of motion, even if it is a little free-handed. But the gimbal obviously looks better, but it's just annoying to hold up there.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, for people too, just like starting out, like the ceremony, I feel like is definitely where you need to have all your ducks in a line. Yeah. Like that's not let's just get that one more time. So
you can't. Yeah. I mean, like, I can't think of one. If you miss one thing at a ceremony, especially if you have these locked up, because it's a continuous recording, you know.
Right. Yeah.
If you miss one thing, what is one thing you'd miss other than the kiss? To make the kiss.
Right.
I don't think I've ever not been nervous, but that's why I feel a little bit better knowing I have all these cameras. At least some angle is going to get something.
Yeah.
But the kiss, really, other than that, like if you don't get something, that kind of means you screwed up majorly.
Yeah,
one of the cameras wasn't recording or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
and that just goes back to the, what the point you made is like at least 2 cameras. Like
at least what I do is probably overkill for most, and I pay for it in the edit, syncing all that up. But, I do make sure I put mics on all the cameras I can to make sure they're sensitive to pick up stuff, so I can sync it better.
Right.
But with my Blackmagics, I forgot to like set the mics. You can change the mics inside of those to like what mic is selected, and I've left it like on the 3.5 or I left it to the internal, or no, I've left it on the 3.5 and then forgot my mic or something and left it internal. I thought the internal mics were on. They weren't. So I had no audio. Literally thinking that was miserable. Like literally was zooming in, watching lips playing over and over and over. It was such a pain. But and then just sync it up with 3 or 4 other cameras. It's a mess. So you don't have to do it that way. Right. My way is, and sometimes I won't use one of those cameras. Like maybe I just like, okay, this close up down the aisle I don't necessarily need, or I might use it once, and like my close ups of me up there was fine. It's kind of like they're all just insurance for each other.
Yeah,
really,
most definitely.
But so that's, I think, 2 cameras, a lav, monopod, and a tripod. Yeah. That's the gear you need, and how to use it is, I mean, there's so many ways to do it, but I think that's where you need to start. What else? Onboard mics are good too. Get a good onboard mic for weddings. This is probably the only thing you're really an onboard mic is good for, really professionally, is to get those candid moments of, you can use audio in that way, which I've started to do. Like they're laughing or they say a joke in the groom's room, or the bridesmaids are like giggling or something. Like you have that kind of ambient audio to throw in somewhere to bring up. It's kind of adds a little more liveliness to the film instead of just music. Yeah.
I guess another thing though too is like if you have a drone, and obviously you're being paid for it for the wedding, make sure that you're licensed.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a big thing.
Part 107. Yeah, like we talked about in our past episode. Yep. That's for some. The venues are the only people that have really asked for my Part 107 because it's insurance purposes for them. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. In general, you should be licensed. In general, but. Yeah, the drone gets so much attention at weddings. Everybody always asks about the drone. Oh, you got a drone. You're bringing the drone. You got the drone. And then you get it out like everyone's going to watch you fly. I hate that when everyone's watching you fly.
Makes you want to just make one big announcement and be like, okay, nobody look up when the drone goes up.
Because then you get nervous, and then people look over your shoulder and see what it's looking at. And it's like, it's a whole... Yeah. I always try to sneak away and do it. I don't want them to know I got the drone stuff.
Right, yeah.
What else? I think that's really it.
Yeah, I really think so. Like the essential, the essential kit. Yeah.
That's really all I think you need for, it's probably mostly just common sense. People are going to listen to this and be like, oh, well, I knew that.
Well, I know you touched on, I don't remember if you touched on it, but you did mention like a light, like lighting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I didn't mention that. I'm so glad you brought that back up. So the light, I have an old Lowell Pro, but literally any light would work for this. I like the warm lights for this. Literally, one single light on a tripod or C-stand, not tripod, light stand, and coordinate with the venue, the wedding coordinator, whoever you can speak to there, and see, and if it's next to the DJ, where you can put this thing on the dance floor during the reception. It's game changing. Literally the most game changing thing that's ever helped me and Caitlin for photo and video at weddings is to light your own reception, and not like cinematic lighting. It's literally just like a spotlight, but it looks cool if you backlight it because you can get silhouette photos, and especially if it's so dark anyway where you're gonna get crap photos. It's better just to get a silhouette that looks like it's artsy, it looks cool, and then shooting it into the light and video is amazing for like the slow dances and stuff. Sometimes DJs don't like that. I have been asked to turn it off, and some DJs like coordinate with me like I can have it on for a couple minutes and I'll turn it off.
Oh, like if they have lights too. Like
they'll say, gotcha. But most of the time it complements their lights. It just looks okay. It's just like I have a spotlight and then they have their colorful stuff. But and then when you turn it off, I have a dimmer, so like I slowly dim it throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like shocking when I turn it on. I guess that doesn't matter. It's just I just don't want people to notice. Turn a light, and then you slowly dim it down and turn it off. But lighting the dance, bring a light, set it up way ahead of time when you get there, and just like walk in the room and flip it on when you're about to go to the reception, and make sure you have it in a proper area where it's going to be backlighting the first dance or the dance floor or even speeches. But yeah, that was, oh my gosh, I have to have it every time, or just count on like those horrible low light images from the reception. Bring in the light, and not even diffused like or anything. It's literally just open with the like I said, I have the Lowell Pro, so it's a halogen light with barn doors. But I mean, even Godoc's little, or the Aperture 120D, like literally a Bowen's mounted light with just the, what do you call the mount that comes with it? What do you call that? The can. Literally just spotlighting it harsh.
It's like a small can light. Definitely.
I think it'd be kind of odd to bring a whole diffusion thing though for a dance.
Probably. Yeah. I feel like that would definitely be overkill.
But like lean into that spotlight, get it up high. Beautiful. Amazing. It'll save all your reception images and it looks awesome on video. Gives them cool cinematic, like them dancing through the light and stuff. If you go through and look at any of my reception stuff, you'll notice that backlight. I'm always shooting. It's always the same light in all of them, but it looks so good. But I think it's about it. That's the last thing. I would totally recommend that light over a drone. Drone, I think, is last. I would probably put the drone last. Because I think in all of my wedding films, my drone is like 5 seconds of anything in it. Like 5 seconds of an establishing shot. Maybe in like an open barn, I took it through the inside. Like I go through it to like kind of slowly pan through the setup. But other than that,
drones. Plus, it's drone footage is hard to work with.
It's one more thing to stress out about. I'd wait till you're really comfortable to start breaking out the drone. What I used to do with the drone though, when I first started, if it was local weddings before I started going traveling far, where this wasn't possible, was I would go there the day before the wedding or soon before the wedding. You could go after, I guess, and get the drone shots of the venue before. And I know sometimes they won't have things set up, but if it's like a barn, you can at least get the shots of the barn and stuff like that. That is always useful to do, but I just don't justify it anymore. I used to go to like the rehearsal too and get some of the shots. But I'd drive out like 2 hours to go get a drone shot, come back, and then go back another 2 hours the next day just to make sure. Because I literally was so worried about not having time to get the drone up. It's such a, they are a pain. For weddings, they're a pain.
Right.
Because you're on a time crunch and you got to pull them out and set them up and take them and they just find where to take off, so where to land. It's.
Now, would you recommend like someone kind of like starting out, would you recommend them go to the rehearsal?
Yes. Most likely
if it's makes sense.
Most likely if you're starting in weddings, it's someone you know, right?
Right, exactly.
I would think. I don't know. I feel
or somewhere close to home or something like that.
I feel like that's true. I feel like most people are asked by a friend, family friend, or somebody who knows somebody. I would definitely make sure you can go to the rehearsal so you can get an idea of the venue. I used to like to go to see what lenses I needed where that was when I had primes, but now I have zooms. It's more versatile zooms. Like, what do I need? What's the setup look like for the ceremony? Where are they coming in from? Where, if it's outdoor, where there's the sun setting, and what time of day is the ceremony? Stuff like that. That's important. But now they got like, we'll figure that all out early on in the day. Like those are, that just comes with experience. You'll learn to like what you need to know before you need to know it. Kind
I
of
was
thing.
gonna say, yeah, that, and I guess another thing too is like with that whole like planning thing. Another thing is to make sure you get there like way before, like
Oh yeah.
like at least like I don't know how long, but like
So for me, starting out, they're like 16-hour days for me. I get there way too early, and as we've gotten more experience, we started getting there, like cutting it a little bit closer, and really dialing how much time we need and the type of gear we've accumulated that kind of helps solve like the setup time, breakdown time, and what I actually need. Oh, less is more. 100% less is more with weddings. It's so true. Like, don't bring like the prime lenses I had. Literally, I probably been better off just using one prime the whole day. Probably would have been way better. Like, instead of taking the time stressing out with that.
Yeah, right.
Less is more. Don't bring too much crap. Other than batteries and SD cards.
Yeah.
But did you ask about the rehearsals? What did you ask? Sorry.
No, I was just saying like if it makes sense to go to the rehearsals, that way you can kind of get more.
Was I still answering that? I'm sorry. I feel like I just went on a side tangent.
Pretty much answered it.
But yeah, I totally would. Early, that's what we were on. Getting there early.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've dialed it back down. But like eventually it didn't make sense as we started gaining more clientele and more experience, was like where people charge by how many hours of the day are you there? And that started to make more sense to me on like being there too long there before. Because there was times we were getting there too early. We get them getting ready and there would be like a couple hours between the bridesmaids just hanging out. And it's like, okay, we're just doing nothing here.
Yeah, and I feel like at that point you're just like, you almost feel not productive because you're like, man, is there something I could be getting? But really, you've got
there's a lot of that weddings. You'll notice like it's like hurry up and then you're waiting and you got plenty of time. Hurry up and then you're just waiting. Hurry up and then you're just waiting. That's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. There's a lot. There is surprisingly a lot of downtime working.
Most
weddings.
definitely, yeah, with weddings.
For something being so stressful, there is like a lot of time in between things.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Unless they throw some curveballs at you, which there will be curveballs. There's always curveballs at weddings. Nothing ever goes as planned. Time's always shifted. Sometimes way off, way early. Just, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest problem I've had with weddings is like the timing thing. It's never there.
No, it's like a very general. It's like a storyboard.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's like a very general concept that's it's gonna change throughout the whole thing. Like, yeah. There's time. I think the longest, whose wedding was it? We were like 4 hours. Everything was like 4 hours shifted behind, and it was like
4 hours.
Yeah, it was bad. But
and was that an outside wedding or
no?
Okay,
nope.
Okay.
Just people goofing off, which happens. I mean, people want to have fun. It's okay. But the 4 hours was the worst. Usually it's like an hour, 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's especially with people that have outside weddings. I think that's what they really like the bride and groom need to make sure everything's on time because lighting.
Yeah,
like outside, like the sun.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't help that.
And have you ever like? I feel like all the ceremonies I've done are like high noon. I never get a sunset ceremony because it's normally like reception time. You know, it's like don't count on that because I mean, most likely usually like there's not much you can do about that. It is what it is at that point. Yeah. And then unless it's a cloudy day, then you get some cool photos, cool footage. But was it the last one I'm currently working on? The ceremony was high noon. The sun was so ugly straight down, and then right before the ceremony started, clouds just came in and diffused it all. And I was like, ended up being some of the best like shots I've gotten in a ceremony before.
Ooh.
But, sometimes things go right during the wedding, but mostly not.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's part of it. It's literally like, be ready with a kit that is going to work for you, not against you.
Yeah. And the nice thing about weddings is it's like a great way to storytell. Like if you're wanting to get into this world, it's a great way to.
Weddings, I'll say it over and over, like the best stopping grounds. It's the best film school.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn about yourself, the camera, and how run and gun docs go. But even filmmaking, like even narrative films, like getting used to like things don't always go that way you plan for them to do.
Yeah. Just stuff that you have to be okay with. And, you know, I guess it just proves like how like much you're willing to work around like the problems and you're you know.
I have some mad respect for people who just do weddings.
Right. Yeah.
But it also, you want to become a good editor, edit wedding films. Like those are a pain to do. Because like normally with other projects, you have You have a plan.
Yeah, right.
Weddings, you go, you know it's a wedding day and that's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's what you know. They're going to kiss at some point and they're going to dance. Like,
Yep. Whatever happens.
yeah. Speeches, audio at speeches for like full length. So if possible, if you have enough gear, it's probably ideal. I normally don't do this, but to lav the, oh my gosh.
Like the best man.
And the
bridesmaid.
Bridesmaid. Is it right?
Oh gosh.
What the heck?
Maid of honor.
Maid of honor. Maid of honor.
Whiz.
If you can mic them, but then again, you run into that dress issue. It's like, normally it's.
True.
So I normally try to get into the DJ board or wherever they're speaking on for those and count on that. But I will get a camera up close with an onboard mic.
Yep.
I mean, best you can do at that point. But usually, I think once it didn't work out for me, but usually you get the actual mic audio and it's amazing when you do. It's amazing when you get a 2-camera setup on a speech and then you get that mic audio, then it's like super clean.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
nice.
But those are always fun for me to edit, but if it works.
Right.
But yeah. What were you saying before that? Before I was thinking of speeches, what were we just saying? Editing, storytelling.
Right.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I guess I guess like having a plan and stuff, and then like weddings. No, I don't remember. Yeah, whatever. I think we said all our points.
I think so. Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah.
So just kind of like as a recap, it's definitely camera lens. Make sure you have enough storage,
Batteries
and batteries.
Specifically to recommend, like I think the Ace 6000s are great. The kit lens if you have to.
Right.
That 18105 is super versatile. If you can get 2 of those,
Right.
Awesome. Gimbal, up to you.
Yeah.
Monopod, I
would say it's a must.
I'd say monopod and a tripod for those 2 cameras. I have a Benro one I love, but I'm sure there's a lot. I've heard of one. Oh, there's one I can't remember. I heard about. So I don't remember the name of it, and at least one lav. Aspen Mics makes good ones. I think the Rode one has gotten cheaper now. And then any recorder, but I would not recommend going wireless right at first. I've had interference with them a couple times, but unless the new ones have like recorders and wireless. That records
that's what I wonder
if
about
you can do that, then whatever.
DJ ones. Yeah.
Just to make sure you have something that's recorded on them. On the Groom or the Officiant, I mic both. If you can get 2 lavs, mic them both. You got the backup. Bride also optional. What else? And the light.
Yeah.
The light I feel like is a need to have that, and you can.
I would say so.
Do some. Yeah. You could do some damage with this, and any light, literally any light you can get. Any light that is a what are they called? COB lights, like a SL60 from Godox, or the Aperture 120D seems like overkill for like. Godox is amazing, but Godox is probably the most affordable one. SL60, you don't need super bright anything in a dark room. Even if you have it up and you don't end up using it, but just to have that option to flip on is amazing. Or the new Amaran lights that I just pre-ordered.
Yes,
I forgot about those. Those would be awesome for that. I would plug it in with an extension cord though.
I was going to say, I guess another thing would make sure that you know where the outlets are.
Yes.
Or like you said, extension cords too. Yeah.
Oh, and always ask the venue if there's a place for you to set up and set your bags. Like, because you probably have more stuff for video that you can't carry all day.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have a cart I set up with a shelf, and I use like a little corner or something. Normally by the DJ or like in like a kitchen area that's not being used or something like that. But, is that it? Is that everything?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. The essentials, I think.
The essentials. I hope that was useful. It's kind of fun to talk about.
Right.
Just kind of talk through some of.
We're both gearheads, so
Oh yeah. If anyone is like, maybe I feel like if you've done a wedding, you just want to like step it up a little. Hopefully that somebody's able to find some kind of usefulness in this. And if they have any questions about how we do certain things at weddings, go ahead and ask. We have the email there in the show notes. You can email us a question there, or leave it if you're on YouTube. You can just leave it in the comments. Weddings are a pain. Not everyone does it. Not everyone does them the same. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they're all different.
It's all different.
I've noticed that everybody edits differently. Everyone shoots differently. There is no right way. There's no wrong way.
That's what the greatest thing about this whole field is.
It is, and not because when the wedding couple shows you a wedding film, like that's another thing too. Is be thorough. Be thorough on how you work, and most likely, it's better if they can see some of the stuff you've done too. But
most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Is that it?
I think so.
Alrighty. That is it for this one. We will see you guys or talk to you I always say see you guys as if it's just
Yeah.
YouTube. But if you're listening, we'll talk to you in the next one.
We will see you later.